Hi, welcome to the channel Witness for Jesus. This is Dawn. I'm going to play for you a recording of a conversation that someone had with their mother, and they uploaded it to the YouTube channel, and they gave me permission to share it with you. So I'm going to. It's an amazing conversation. It really gives you insight into the Jehovah's Witnesses. The lady on the video is not a baptised witness. She never got baptised. She was an unbaptised publisher and then decided to walk away. And the conversation with her mother, who is a JW, shows that the mother makes the decision to shun her. And I was listening to this with, honestly, it's jaw-dropping. It's incredible. And it is a really good insight, and I think she really holds her own in expressing, you know, what it's like for us, what it's like for people who leave, who maybe just have a different view, and not living a bad life, not doing anything in particular, but just having a different view. There are a couple of minutes at the beginning of this video where there's some text. Now you can read the text, or you can skip forward 2 minutes to when the audio starts. Okay, thank you. And oh, I have got permission to share this, and her YouTube channel is LA Poley, which I will link underneath this video. Thank you.
I've come across, you know, it's up to you, and if you're not there, then you'll never be there, and I can accept that. I can move on. I don't need to have it cause division, because I know the importance of family. And when you guys say putting Jehovah first means that you put your family last, simply because they no longer want to participate in the Watchtower Society schedule.
That's what it comes down to. We have to put Jehovah first. We have to, before anybody.
But it's false. You're not putting Jehovah first, because Jehovah would never instruct families to separate and never talk again. All the disfellowshipping
Are you kidding?
scriptures that they use, they twist the meaning.
The Bible. You need to read the Bible and find out what.
Trust me, I'm going back to all these sources, and I'm reading what they say about disfellowshipping, and I'm breaking it down, what they say in the Bible. How else would you have a clear view? Because there's a few examples that they use to disfellowship people, and for families never to even accept a text, and never like reply to a text, or if.
Okay, now that's a different thing. See, you're not baptized. You haven't become a baptized Christian.
Thank God. And if I was, you wouldn't even be calling me right now. If I was baptized and then disfellowshipped, I wouldn't hear from you ever again. Because let me promise you something, I'll never be a part of this religion ever again. So that's something that you don't need to spend time being heartbroken over. This is something that you should learn acceptance with and get on with it, you know?
All right, well, then I accept it. I accept that's what you're doing, but I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be in association with that at all.
You don't need to be in association with that, but what you're saying is you're summing me up as a whole. Like me as your daughter, you can't associate with all the things I have to offer, with all the conversations that we've had in the past about countless different things that I still feel the same way about. That's all put behind your own relationship with your grandkids. You are also sacrificing so that you can honor an organization's set of rules. That's it.
Oh, man.
Because that's what it is. You're influenced by this organization, and you think that it's a proper thing to do to never talk to me. And the same goes for Russ. You don't phone him either because of his stance, because of what he believes in. And you could see that when he went out there, that he no longer believes. And it was so heartbreaking that you never called him again.
Oh, boy. I just don't want to be around that. I just don't want to be around it.
Well, you're bringing it out by bringing up the subject, which I was willing to put aside because it doesn't make up for all of who I am. I'm a very caring, empathetic, loving mother. I take care of my kids. I'm a good person. And I am going back to the scriptures constantly, and I am praying. And I haven't gave up on my relationship with God, not at all, not one iota. But everything that I've been researching, I am 100% convinced that this religion isn't the truth. And I can't easily be persuaded. It takes a lot for me to be convinced of something. Are you kidding me? I was born and raised in this religion, and I never questioned any of the doctrines, any of the policies. Never. Oh, Jesus died on a stake? Okay, if you say it, it must be so. I never questioned anything. But I don't beat myself up for that. I know that I was brainwashed, that I was indoctrinated.
Oh, man. See, that's what I just, oh my goodness.
And there's just so much, backstory that makes me feel convinced that, I had a right to feel how I felt at certain times of my life. And I had a right to react normally because a lot of the time, I won't even get into it, but I don't even care. I was willing to put this aside and just my mom's willing to see me. I'm just going to focus on the fact that she wants to spend time with her grandkids. That more than anything must outweigh the importance of seeing me. And I'm totally fine with that. I completely understand. And I'm not going to be I'll be upset about anything. But the fact.
What are you teaching the kids? Are you teaching them now that they're free?
Well, that, we were being lied to in a sense. So yeah.
Oh, so that's what you're teaching your kids?
Well, I'm not sitting down with them and having studies and going over information with them, but, they're not, hateful towards the organization or anything like that. That's what is assumed with apostasy is that everyone, one of the things that David Splain said is that all apostates have to offer is hate. And because of the magnitude of severe misstreating words, it was such an over-the-top statement because it's not true. There's so much information that people bring to light that is in fact true, and they don't want you to hear about it. So they have this talk saying, well, we warn you, Satan is on a roll with all his ways of trying to, distract people, and it's just not the case. It's a lie. this label apostate is similar to conspiracy theorist. It's like this label that's given people who are just trying to open people's eyes and like, hey man, do your own research beyond the publications. Like, it's not going to kill you. Jehovah's not going to be upset if you seek the truth. Seek the truth about the truth.
When you find the truth, you live by the truth, and that's what I've been doing.
Well, Jesus teaches that, right?
Yes.
So there's lots of grounds to work with. There's lots of teachings from the Bible, but the witnesses and their policies, they go against Jesus's teaching, and there's so many examples of how they do that. But like I said, I was willing to keep that subject aside and put it aside.
I can't keep that subject aside, Leanne. You were raised in...
Well, then let's talk about it if you want to bring it up. Like, let's be open. There's no reason, because I'm not full of hate. I'm not under the influence of Satan. There's no reason.
Of Ross and Angela, and who else?
What?
Well, Ross, I mean, didn't he send you videos? Aren't you with him on this?
Well, the video that he sent me, Mom, I didn't believe at the time. It was just some guy making a video, and I'm like, who the heck is this? I'm gonna break this apart, rip it to shreds, and that's what I did. I made a reaction video, and then I sent it to him, and he said, oh, that was great, Leanne. Now do one on 1914. And I said, no, actually, you know what? I've delved in quite enough, and I'm just going to put that aside now and focus on the religion and being a good JW and going to all the meetings and focus on the Bible. And, I put that aside. I didn't believe I just thought what this guy was saying in the video was hogwash. He was exaggerating.
He's going to come back, that's for sure, right?
That's for sure. 100%, like never in a million years.
Okay, then. We're done.
We're done, because I'm not going to be a Jehovah's Witness. What you are saying to me is that you are confirming my worst assumptions about this religion and its policies on shunning.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. You are confirming that, guess what? You don't have to be baptized. You can be an unbaptized publisher who decides to research beyond the publications, finds out a whole mess of evidence that completely dismantles, not the Bible, but this religion. No, it has 8 million victims.
No. You know what? I really hope that Jehovah has mercy on you when the Great Tribulation ends.
And I hope that one day you can wake up, because guess what? How many times have they promised Armageddon? 1975, 1914, 1879, or whatever it is, 5 times. And they didn't say it was an assumption. They released that information at the time like it was prophecy, like it was fact. So now, when this new world doesn't come, once again, after the overlapping generations, what are you going to say? You're...
Yeah, it's going to come. And you know what the brothers do? When they realize they need to make a correction, they do it.
No, it's
don't hold back.
Literally, like if you, that's one thing that you could research too on your own time is how many times the witnesses were wrong. The Watchtower Society changed their doctrines, and they call it New Light, and it's supposed to be, oh, of course, we're being directed, but God doesn't change. It says in the Bible that Jehovah doesn't lie, nor would he change his, these are important doctrines. These aren't just,
See, Leanne, this is what I don't want to listen to.
Well, you're the one who's asking me.
See, that's apostate. And the Bible calls it, associate with them, we don't listen to them, and that's what I don't want to do. So even having this conversation, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, that's fine. And I am perfectly willing to come to terms and say, you know what, Mom?
Always, just to let you know, I will love you and love the kids. But I can't be around it because it's not the proper thing.
Okay, but didn't we agree at one point that we couldn't talk about this because it's too hard? But what you're saying is that you can't visibly see me or be around me Because I believe what I believe.
Well, no, I think you are involved with the demons. That's what I think.
Right.
I think they have a very strong hold on you, and it's going to be with the kids as well. You think?
You know what? That's very just like what's his name, who was answering questions, that one of the governing body member, Jeffrey Jackson, when he was asked, does the governing body feel like they're getting direction from God? And he goes, that would be very presumptuous to assume. Now let's apply the same application. Don't you think it would be very presumptuous for you to assume that I'm being under the influence by demons? And wouldn't it be very presumptuous to assume that Jehovah's Witnesses are the only ones who follow the Bible correctly and who take Jesus into account and who follow his teachings and who have faith and who are believers?
Just listen to me. You lived in my house. You were raised in my house since you were 13 years old. And you have been on a wrong path since. All through the years, I've tried to encourage you to learn. Your life will be better. I've always taught you that. And your life was better. And you had your kids and beautiful kids you have, and you taught them. And then now it's all changed. But you were under the influence of the demons, and do not tell me otherwise.
That's you're dead wrong, and that's very presumptuous and almost arrogant and condescending even for you to say that. Because if I was under the influence of demons, would I be a good parent? Would I have joy in my life every day? Would I be active, doing positive things? Doing things to better my life if I was under the influence of demons? Are you hearing yourself?
Yes, I am.
Oh, and Ross is having the best time, and he's the happiest he's ever been because he's being blessed by Satan.
Oh.
Like, that's the words that you said to me at one point. And you're telling me, do you hear yourself? Like,
yourself.
Come on.
You told me yourself that that's what was in your house. And I believed you. Or were you lying?
I'm sorry, what?
That
You're cutting out.
was afraid of them.
Sorry? He was 2 years old. He was in a timeout, and he came running into the living room screaming, saying that he heard a voice or something. And I was freaked out by that. And it just made me want to involve myself in the religion, obviously that much more. And, endorse that, but that has nothing to do with me choosing to be part of this religion. Not at all.
Why don't you open this Bible and read it and do more studying on your own and find out the truth for yourself?
Well, that's exactly what I do. That's exactly what I do. So, and I even go to I still have jw.org on my app because I look up articles and I see, oh yeah, they're kind of doing that narrative. Yeah, I see. And then I look up the scriptures, and then I look up all the translations of that scripture, and I compare and I put it into context. And then I read the whole entire chapter associated with the scripture, and then I understand the context even more. And I think, gee, they're really misinterpreting that scripture. And how many times has that happened? Oh, I don't know, countless. And it's not because the demons are manipulating my mind. This is just me expressing critical thought. And I would really recommend that everyone do that, because it's not having a demonic seance when you decide to go off the publications. It's really not,
It isn't. Angry. They don't want anyone to learn the truth. You think they're not going to cause trouble?
That's right. Satan is the father of deception, man. And he's done a really good job.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, you know what? I just wish things were different. But
You cannot change the fact that I've woken up. But guess what? Like I said before, you're my mother and I'm your daughter, and that
Right.
shouldn't change, right? Your grandchildren, man, there is times throughout the day where I just look at them and I think, man, if grandma was here seeing this, she would just be overjoyed. Like, this is love here. This is love. And to not be included with that is a decision that goes against God, in my opinion. 100%.
Think about that, and think about the stand you're taking against Jehovah.
I'm not taking a stand against Jehovah. I'm absolutely taking a stand against this organization which does not represent Jehovah, and that governing body is not a channel that Jehovah is using.
Well, see, I feel so...
I know. But check this out. Like, you want to jump to this really, really harsh, final decision. Like, this is final. Like, once you say, I don't want to be a part of your life, I don't want to talk to you again, that's final. You say you've thought it through and you've prayed. But I know of instances where people have prayed and nothing has happened, or, something else happens and they think, oh, well, it must be Jehovah. Well, a decision like that, I can tell you right now, is not Jehovah answering your prayers. You phoning me up and saying you never want to talk to me again is not because your prayers are being answered. I can tell you that 100% with all of my faith, heart and soul. This just not. Because love your neighbor, love your family. Hello?
Did you hang up on me?
No, the phone just died. I was talking and then the phone started ringing. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Is there someone else there?
No, the phone died, Mom. Like, my battery is low, so I think the phone died, and then you phoned me back. It is at a low, and it was beeping, so that was an indication that the battery is dying. My phone is really old.
Okay. So anyway, that's about it. I don't know what else to say. I've taken a stand for the truth, and I'm going to stick with it.
Well, this is what you can do by taking a stand for the truth. Continue being in the truth. That's it. You don't have to cut me off and say I'm never going to talk to you again. Come on, man. That's extreme. That's extreme. What we can do is we can decide not to talk about it. And even Jaja, I was talking to her. She's like, oh, that's so great. Your mom's coming out. See, she loves you and the kids. And just try and keep it on a down low, and don't talk about the religion.
I cut you off? Are you telling people that I cut you off and I don't want to have anything to do with you? Is that what you're telling everybody?
No, I never said that. I never said that to anybody. Why would I say that? It's not true. I said I've talked about like the struggles that I'm having, and that I would, text back and some of that, like with my best friends. I'm not talking bad about you or anybody. Just listen. What I'm saying is that she was saying, oh, that's great. Your mom is going to hang out with you guys. And, because you're coming into town. That's good news. Like, you don't have to twist that into a negative. Holy cow. I was happy about you coming to visit. And so Jaja said, oh, that's really great. And just keep the whole subject to the side 100%. Don't even bring anything up. Focus on the day that you guys have.
With you on this, then, as far as apostasy and as far as all of this is concerned, right? She's with you on this.
Okay, so if I say that she supports my decision, are you going to think that she's also under the spell of demons? Is that it?
You know what? If you're not on the side of the truth, you're on the side of the devil. And
I believe that. That's why I think that, the fact that this religion isn't the truth, that makes me feel like I'm more in line with the truth about the truth. But anyway, Jaja said that, and I said, yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind not bringing anything up. I'm not out there to tear people down and disrupt their beliefs. But if you want to talk about it, then I'm more than open to talk about it. But, that's just one aspect of my life. It's not who I am as a person. Who I am as a person is, empathetic, loving, got my head on straight, so to speak.
I know that.
I make decisions based on what's best, and that's just what I think. And I was willing to put my beliefs and opinions and everything else aside so that we could spend the day at the zoo and just focus on what matters. And that's like family, because you can't change my mind. And let's face it, I can't change your mind. So we have to agree to disagree. We put that aside. And yes, it breaks my heart to see people make the decisions that they're making. But am I going to call them out for it and, personally attack them?
Especially if it's family. I will call them out for it. I call them lost for it.
Well, it's different. I understand it's different when you're family. You care that much more.
Of course.
Right? But this is the thing, Mom. You cannot persuade my beliefs at this point, so there's nothing you can say. Right?
All right. So then this is it. Like, it's just, for me, like Ross said, you apologized to Angela before I even talked to you. And you respected him, didn't you?
Respected him for what he said at the time. No, I didn't. And even now, like, it was extreme because Ross can be a little bit extreme. I know. I know him. Like, he's stubborn. He's like dad or whatever. Like, I have a bit of that. I don't know. Like, it's human nature, but people separate. They don't talk to each other for a while. And then with different circumstances, like, nothing's ever permanent. He's my brother, nothing's ever permanent. Like, even the whole time he missed me, I missed him. And, like, it's family. That never changes. You can't ruin that bond. And then if you decide to, like, sever the ties, for one, if I'm a toxic person that's bringing harm to your life somehow, then you have a good reason to disconnect. It's like if I was a drug addict who showed up at your house and stole your stuff and pawned it.
It's bringing harm to you and your life.
No, but I'm telling you, and you're not taking my word for it, that it's doing anything but bringing harm to my life. Anything but.
Of course, it doesn't seem like it right now. Everything might seem fine. And you know what? Like, it was that reading that the brothers did on Noah. And Jesus said the same thing. Just as in the days of Noah, it'll be in the days of the Son of Man. They took no note until the flood came, and they were all swept away. I don't want that to happen to you and the kids. I don't want that, and that's why we're having this conversation. Otherwise, I wouldn't be calling you. I don't want that to happen. I want you to learn and to know.
I just don't believe that if there is a final judgment day, that it's the people who decide not to be Jehovah's Witnesses are the ones that are going to be swept away, just like the flood in Noah. I don't believe that.
I didn't say that. Jehovah's the judge. I say who's going to be there.
Exactly. Jehovah's the judge, but the organization has several articles where they allude to the fact that if you don't join his organization, consider yourself gone. And there's about 40 examples.
Well, you know what? How many examples are there in the Bible of people their stand against Jehovah's representatives? And they
exactly, the Pharisees and all these people who are against what's right, who serve false gods and things like that, who outright worship idols, and Sodom and Gomorrah, and people who live like disgusting lives, drunkards. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's many examples in the Bible of people who are bad.
These were people who were upright, and they were men of fame. They call themselves men of fame. They were part of the Jews, the Jewish tribes that left Egypt with Moses. They were upset because they said, well, why should we listen to you, to Moses? Why should we listen to you? And Jehovah said, well, if you speak against him, you speak against me. Jehovah has always used people to represent him in the past and now in the present. He's always used people.
Yeah, well, in the Bible examples are, like Moses was used to lead the people and the people were impatient, but now it's like this corporate like idealism where you can't think a certain way, you can't talk a certain way, you can't dress a certain way, you can't do nothing. All these rules that, God forbid, if that's what it said in the Bible, I would be more obliged to follow. But what they do is that they take the scriptures and they misinterpret them, and there's a lot of false teachings within the organization. And the fact that God...
Hear that. That's what I don't want to hear.
Yeah, but God himself doesn't lie,
I know. I don't go on YouTube and I don't search out people who have these views. I don't want to know. I know how I feel about what I've been taught.
That's right. As a critical thinker, I usually like to verify things and get it from the source and the Bible itself.
Okay. Are you saying I'm wrong in the way I live my life?
No, I'm not saying the way you live your life is totally wrong. Like, a lot of the Jehovah's Witnesses are really good people. They're really good people and they live moral lives. It's just they're being lied to, that's all.
I want to be around people like that, I'm sorry. But if I choose them as my friends, that's my choice.
Well, hey, you can be morally upright and, be a good person and live almost the same life, just minus all the meetings, service, and hours spent taking in that information. Like, we can still have a lot in common that way, because I am morally upright, I am kind, I do not lie, I do not steal, I'm not a drunkard, and I'm not haughty and boisterous and, arrogant and whatever else. I mean, I'm actually pretty humble, I feel strong about what I feel, but that's because that's passion. It's not anger. I'm not angry at anybody. And I love the Jehovah's Witnesses, all of them.
And that's why we go out in the ministry, because we love people too, and we want to teach them. If they reject the truth, that's it.
And unfortunately, that's based on, I hate to keep repeating myself, but I know your motivation comes from a good place, that you think you're helping people, and that you're sharing with them the truth. But, there's a lot of people who look into stuff, and it's not YouTube, and, you can look up articles, you can, a lot of this supposed truth should be able to stand up to scrutiny. And they don't want the witnesses to find out this information that stands up, that conflicts with what they're teaching.
Exactly what they said. I haven't lived this long without knowing that, Leanne. People have a lot to say about the witnesses, about the things that we...
It's not just...
Like this, they don't like that.
Listen, it's not just people who have a lot to say. It's the organization themselves that exposes themselves just with their own literature and with their own teachings. And I mean, just the history there, it's undeniable. You can't erase history, can you?
No, you definitely can't. We live by it. It was written for examples for us, just like that text I sent you about teaching your kids. They were taught in ancient, in the first century, and the same is true today. They go by that. It might seem a little out of date. Why would you do that to your kids? But you know what?
Well, there's a lot in the Bible that I would absolutely refuse to read to my kids. Namely, the violence, just...
They need to know that. Because this is a violent world we live in. And believe me, when the Great Tribulation comes, there'll be violence everywhere.
Okay, granted. So in that case, why are they constantly telling witnesses to not have any violent material included in their entertainment, when at the same time there's the same type of depictions shown in the Watchtower convention dramas? I mean, we're talking like a guy leaning over an edge with blood dripping down and a sea of dead bodies, yet we can't watch anything that depicts violence in the basic entertainment.
No, it's being entertained by violence. This is fact. We're learning.
All right. So you can't watch any imagery that depicts violence because of the context that it's in? If that was the case, it wouldn't be of utmost importance to avoid.
It's important that we know all this. It's important that we know what happened in the past.
Of course it is. But when you're creating a book designed and geared towards children, and you're putting an image in there with a baby holding up a baby, King Solomon about to hack up a baby with a blade, that to me is questionable. Look, I look back to the Bible book of stories, and it's nostalgic. I have good memories, mostly because, it was quality time spent with you, reading the bedtime stories, and it was just so, like a nice mother and daughter bonding and looking at these articles and different pictures. I used to love them. Now when I look back and I look at the pictures, I'm an adult now, okay? I can see I wouldn't want to teach my kids like how everybody in the world died and drowned because Jehovah, gave them a few chances, Noah's Day's flood, right? And people clinging to the last piece of land to try and save their life. I mean,
we all need to know about.
It's doomsday. It's doomsday, like Armageddon. The whole concept of Armageddon is taken out of context too. You guys believe that it's this grand finale when all these people are going to die at the same time, Judgment Day, and look, there's scriptures about the new kingdom and Jesus being king, and I'm not going to discredit all that. But Babylon the Great, the prophecies of Daniel, it never ends how they've twisted these things.
Oh my goodness, Leanne, are you kidding me?
Yeah, and the fact that you guys don't double down and question what you're being taught is because of blind devotion. You guys think that the governing body are Jesus's brothers. Look at Michelle. She canceled her study with me because I even put that into question.
We all are. There's a certain group that are made up of the 144,000, and they're going to be resurrected to heaven with Jesus when they bring destruction.
What about millions now living will never die? And that was that 100 years is up already, and all those people have died. And then that was a proclamation. That was a Watchtower teaching. You guys aren't even supposed to go to old publications. And, yep.
Died. Those people that have lived in the 1800s and that learned about God have never died. They're asleep.
Oh, right. Okay, so do you think that the witnesses back then took it as, that their bodies don't die? Even in the Bible, when it explains about death, your body dies, but it goes into the ground and there's nothing left. That's death. The word he used was die, death. That means the body dies, Mom. If anyone in their right mind was listening to that teaching at the time, they're going to automatically think literal terms. There's no metaphorical...
Lazarus was dead for 4 days, and he was starting to smell from what they said. And Jesus said, no, he's sleeping. I'm going to wake him. And he resurrected him back to life.
Great. I believe in the resurrection. I believe in the possibility of resurrection. It's happened before. There's Bible accounts. But what the Watchtower does is something a little different, So yeah, the thing is, I want to be taught the truth. I want to get the truth from the source. I want to get it from the Bible. I want to decipher it, and I want to be free to do that sort of thing, you guys even consider old publications apostate material. You can be disfellowshipped for having a 1980s book Evolution or By Creation or whatever it may be. You guys can get disfellowship for even possessing that. Same with Shepherding the Flock book. It's because you don't know about that. You don't know that people have gotten disfellowshipped because they're looking up old Jehovah's Witness publications. It's again, they warn against it. They call it apostate material. It's basically, in so many words, they accredit it to similar to apostate material. They forbid you to look at that information, and it's from them.
No, that's we have old books that are on it that I've downloaded. And there's no problem there. That's crazy. I don't know who you're talking to or who you're listening to, but anyway.
Well, any publications that do, okay, for instance, there's people who've gotten disfellowshipped over this. People who would go to the old publications and then bring it to light and say, see how it contradicts with what we're teaching now? Oh, well, that's new light. Well, that's not really an excuse. Like you can't take something like this and completely change it. And then it's those people who think critically and are told by the elders, well, what you're doing is you're questioning the organization's teachings, and that puts them sort of in this position like there's something wrong with them.
We always question, always. We want answers and we want the truth. And we compare what's happening today as to what happened in Ezekiel's day. All the prophets that he sent to warn the people of what was coming. And did the people listen? No, they didn't listen. On and did their own thing until it was too late. Jehovah allows us to live our lives and to make the decisions. Yes, he grants us all of that.
Yeah, and he doesn't punish us. He gives us free will. What he doesn't do is send minions to divide families and say, well, you know what? This person should never talk to that person again because they're not part of that religion. That's not the thing. I just making a decision for myself, and I just that's the decision that I want to make at this time. Maybe it'll change in the future. Maybe things will happen in the future, but right now, my loyalty to Jehovah is important. Hey,
than anything else. It even comes above family.
Oh, I know that's what they say. I know. And so my friend Jennifer, I sent her something and she goes, Leanne, please don't send me any videos. I went to get my hair. I never sent her another video. I went to get my hair cut and we were talking. She goes, oh, Leanne, I am 100% loyal to Jehovah. I said, oh, I know. You know, and then we just dropped it. Just as simple as that. Simple as that. I respect people. I respect you. You're my mom. If you asked me, Leanne, I never want to hear any information that shines a bad light on the religion that I'm a part of. And I'll be like, okay, Mom, all right. That's going to be hard, but I think I can do it so I can maintain a relationship.
Or just another person, it would be different. But you're my daughter. And I've supported you and encouraged you for years and years. And to see the stand that you're taking now hurts more than you'll ever know.
Well, you know, Mom, this is a decision I'm making, and it's not based on something that's like I want to go off and have freedom, or I want to live my life the way I want to. And you know, it's not based in selfishness. It's just based in a thirst for truth. That's all it is.
Okay, well, keep doing that, Leanne. Keep doing that. And when you find the truth that's based on the Bible and you realize who Jehovah is using to bring that...
I've already found that out. Okay. And it's not the governing body, and that's where we differ. Okay. But you know what? Like, yeah.
All right.
Like, well, just for instance, you know, here's something I never questioned before until... Like, even today, I still haven't researched this, is like the whole Jesus died on a stake, right? Like, the witnesses are the only ones who teach that. And I came across this scripture in Philippians where it says something along the lines of people are enemies of God if they don't, if they discount the cross of Jesus Christ. And then I looked up the New World Translation, and sure enough, it says torture stake. And then I looked up all the original scriptures and the different Bible translations, and they all say cross. And I was like, well, the witnesses are the only ones who say torture stake. So is that to say like that the other Bible is wrong? All the other Bibles are wrong?
You know what? Look at it's a T. You're good with symbols and all of that. Look where that T originates from. And that's what they put into the Bible. That's how they, but when you look at what actually happened in Rome and how criminals were put to death, they were put to death on a torture stake. That's what it's called. And whoever wanted to put that in the Bible, and there was a strict, what did it call? Anyway, saying that you weren't to add to the Bible or to take away from it. And so whether they put that there to encourage people to go along with their view, I don't know. But if you look at the Romans and what they did to get people to die, how they tortured them to death.
Yeah. And because like Christendom, like you said, was the leading source behind, I mean, obviously all these transcripts and gospels and things that were preserved and all the writers of the Bible, a lot of that was preserved, but then a lot of it was manipulated too before it even was put together.
It's important to look into it and find out what the truth is. So, was it a cross or was it a stake? Where does that? The cross was there long before Jesus came and died, and where that ends. So there's a very simple thing, and it's not a major teaching.
No, it doesn't like make the house of cards fall or anything. It's just something I came across because all the scriptures say cross, right? And it's very specific. It's like if you deny Jesus died on a cross, it's almost like that. It's like you're an enemy of God if you discount that. And it's like, wow, well, the witnesses discount it by saying he died on a torture stake. I mean, in literal terms, I'm just saying. But this is something that I have to, do research on too. Like, I'm going to be on this journey for the rest of my life. It's never going to stop. I'm never going to stop accumulating information.
Well, that's the same with me. I'm never going to stop. I've been taking information.
You guys go over the same stuff over and over again, and the articles are all the same. I mean, don't you get bored? Like, it's the same articles worded differently all the time.
Our Bible takes in the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and we don't do the same thing. We study it chapter by chapter. That's what we do. We study it by chapter.
Well,
right now,
yeah, you do, yeah.
On JW Library, you'll see that there is nothing boring about what we learn. It's always new. We compare. We look at people and how they lived, and now the convention and Noah. The reading on Noah is just incredible, and it gives a comparison to our day, and the Bible is always right.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Like, I'm glad you get fulfillment that way by the publications. I just found that there was a lot of repetition, and a lot of the scriptures that they did use in the publications were scriptures we've all heard over and over and over again.
You're not really looking into the Bible and finding out what the truth is there, because you find it boring because you're reading the same thing. Well, if you open the Bible and started reading, you'd find out differently.
Yeah. Like I said, I just don't want to do that under the scope of the Watchtower.
Okay. That's fine. That's your business. You do what you want to do.
Yeah. Well, it should just come to that and not have, like, family division over it,
It is a family division, Leanne. This is a family division, as far as I'm concerned. It divided us between me and Ross, and now it's happening between you and I.
Well, I can tell you right now, Ross never wanted that.
No, I raised you to learn this. I raised Ross, too, the same way. But he rejected it all the time. He rejected it, and it's just a way of life.
Well, his intuition must have been stronger than mine.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, my intuition was flaring up quite a bit during 2020, but instead of listening to it, I just kind of, pushed it inward and ignored it. Yeah, and that was hurting my soul. That was hurting me. Yeah. See, I don't feel that anymore. You know.
That's fine. You do what you want to do, and nobody controls anybody's life. It's just that who you choose to, you're not associating with any of the friends now, are you?
2. Just 2 who haven't shunned me. Everyone else has. I haven't had a phone call. Dawn hasn't phoned me since I was announced at the meeting.
Okay, all right. See, that's it. They associate with people in the church.
Yeah, I'm an evil, bad person that should be avoided like the Black Plague or a leper on the street.
That's not true.
Well, it is true because you don't get a phone call, you don't get a text, you don't get I'm sorry to hear that you got announced as no longer publisher. Hope to...
Jehovah. When you rejected him, you rejected his people.
And his people are under the false assumption that anybody who leaves the organization is leaving Jehovah. That is a misconception, and it's drilled, into people's heads that, you know what? He left Jehovah, and hopefully he can return someday and come to his senses. I think that was one of the quotes I heard recently in the convention material. These people need to come to their senses. And that's exactly what's happened. We've come to our senses. That's why we left.
Okay. All right. I can't talk to you about this anymore. I'm going to have to hang up now. We're having our meeting tonight. So.
Okay, well, you know what? No decision is final. No words are final. I will let you think about this some more, about what you're saying.
And I'll let you think about it. And think about it. And just remember, my loyalty to Jehovah comes first.
Yeah, and I don't want to discount that or get in the way of that, and I'll respect that. And I'll leave it be. If you decide to never want to talk about this subject, then, hey, our association isn't going to be as good as it was. Let's be honest here. But it doesn't mean you should cut me off. Because it's the wrong thing to do.
You know what? We'll have to talk another time.
Okay, Mom.
No.
All right.
All right. Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.